The power grid's been dark for 72 hours. Your neighborhood watch group disbanded after the second night of screaming. There's a guy 2 streets over who's been sitting on his roof with binoculars, and you're pretty sure he's not bird watching. The police stopped answering calls yesterday. Your Ring doorbell is now just a decorative plastic circle. And you've got maybe half an hour before the sun goes down and things get really interesting. No worries, we're turning your suburban cracker box into a hardened position using duct tape, spite, and the contents of your junk drawer. Let me tell you something beautiful. Your front door is held together by screws the size of a toddler's fingernail. The strike plate, that little metal thing your deadbolt slides into, is attached to decorative trim with hardware that couldn't stop a motivated golden retriever. One kick, that's all it takes. One size 11 boot and your secure entry point becomes a welcome mat. But here's the thing about the apocalypse. Hardware stores are either looted or unguarded, which means you're about to become very creative with what's already in your garage. All right, phase 1, the door. We start with the front door. Not because it's the most vulnerable, it's not, but because it's what people expect to be strong. And in survival, expectations are weapons. Grab your drill. Find the longest screws you own. I'm talking 3-inch, 4-inch, the kind you bought for that deck project you never finished. Rip out those pathetic half-inch screws from your strike plate and hinges. Replace them with the long boys. Drive them deep until they hit the wall studs behind the trim. What you've just done is turn your door frame from a suggestion into a structural component. When someone kicks this door now, the force transfers into the bones of your house. They'll break their foot before they break your door. Congrats! You just bought yourself 3 minutes of kick resistance for the cost of 6 screws. Now the hinges, same deal, long screws, all of them. Because a smart attacker doesn't kick the lock side, they attack the hinges. Pop those pins, lift the door right out. But not anymore. Your hinges are now bolted into the skeleton of the wall. They need a sawzall and 20 minutes. They don't have either. Barricade time. You know that wooden dowel from your closet? The one holding up shirts you haven't worn since 2019? Jam it at an angle from the door handle to the floor. Physics is now your security guard. The angle distributes force across the entire floor. No dowel? Use a chair. Wedge it under the handle. Use a broomstick, a mop. Use that decorative ore you bought at Home Goods because you thought it looked nautical. Everything is a weapon. Everything is a tool. Phase 2. Windows are lies. They are not security features.
They're pre-installed entry points wrapped in a thin layer of denial. We're gonna make them expensive to use. Duct tape, the gray miracle worker. Crisscross every ground floor window with duct tape in a grid pattern. Not decorative, structural. When glass breaks, it shatters. But taped glass, it spiderwebs, it holds. It stays in the frame like a stubborn jigsaw puzzle made of knives. An intruder breaks the window and is faced with a sticky, jagged, clinging mess that'll shred their arms. And it's loud. Every piece of glass they pull away sounds like someone eating chips in a library. You'll hear them. Now, shove your heaviest furniture against the windows. Dressers, bookshelves, that treadmill you've been using as a clothes rack. Make it so even if they break the glass, there's a 200-pound obstacle in the way. They'll need to move it, which means noise, time, and effort, the 3 things they hate most. And keep your curtains closed. Not because you're hiding, because they can't see what you have, where you are, or if you're armed. Uncertainty is a psychological weapon. Let them wonder. Finally, phase 3. The sliding door problem. Sliding glass doors are a beautiful architectural joke. Most can be lifted right off their tracks. Cut a piece of wood, a broomstick, a 2x4, to fit perfectly in the track. The door won't slide. Simple, effective, but go further. Drill a hole at a downward angle through the sliding door frame and into the fixed frame. Drop a nail or a bolt through it. Now the door is pinned. They'd need to drill it out. Too loud, too slow. Bonus move. Smear the outside handle with grease, oil, or that expired mayonnaise in your fridge. Make it disgusting to touch. Petty? Yes. Effective? Also yes. Look around. You've reinforced the doors, trapped the windows, and pinned the sliders. You've used physics, frustration, and household junk to build a fortress. The sun is gone. The screaming is starting up again. Let them come. They're expecting a soft target. They're about to be very, very disappointed.
Let's continue with the next phase. Phase 4, garage doors are traitors. Your garage door can be opened in 6 seconds with a wire hanger. There's a little emergency release handle inside. An intruder pushes a hanger through the top gap, hooks it, and pulls. Boom, they're in. And now they're in your garage, which connects directly to your house, which means they're basically already inside your home. So here's the fix. Zip tie that release handle tight. Use multiple ties. You can still yank it free in a real emergency, but a flimsy coat hanger won't have the leverage. Problem solved for 30 cents. Next, unplug the opener. No power means no automatic opening. They'd have to manually lift a 150-pound door, which is loud, slow, and completely visible. Everything you want. Finally, park a car inside if you can. Even if they get the door open, there's a 2-ton obstacle in the way. They're not moving that quietly. Now for phase 5, psychological warfare. This is the fun part. Security isn't just physical, it's mental. You want them to think your house is a bad idea before they even try. First, fake the dog. Don't have one? Doesn't matter. Put out a massive steel water bowl by the back door, the kind for a Rottweiler. Toss a chewed-up rope toy in the yard, clip a heavy chain leash to your fence, put up a beware of dog sign with a picture of something that looks like it eats intruders for breakfast. Why does this work? Because dogs are chaos. They bark, they bite, they're unpredictable. Even a 10% chance of a dog is enough to make most criminals pick a different house. You're not lying, you're just implying. Next, boots by the door. Big ones, muddy, size 13. It suggests a large working-class person who's home and probably owns tools that double as weapons. It doesn't matter if you're a 5'2" accountant, they don't know that. Then, noise. Leave a radio on. Talk radio is best. Voices suggest people, people suggest witnesses, witnesses suggest risk, and risk suggests let's try next door. And finally, lights on timers.
Not all of them, just a few in random patterns. Living room on for 20 minutes, then off. Bedroom light on, then off. Kitchen light. It looks like someone's moving through the house. Someone awake, someone alert. Okay, phase 6, the perimeter. You've locked down the house, now make the approach itself suck. Dump bags of gravel under windows and along side paths. You cannot walk on gravel quietly. Every step sounds like a snare drum. It's a natural alarm system. Next, thorny plants. Got rose bushes? Drag them under the windows. Anything with thorns becomes a biological barrier. It'll shred clothes, skin, and leave DNA. Not worth it for them. Last, make movement dangerous. A garden hose stretched across a dark path, a fake motion light fixture with a visible sensor. They'll assume it works and avoid that entire area. This brings us to our last line of defense. Phase 7, the interior fallback. Everything we've done buys you time, but if someone gets through, you need a safe room. Pick one room, a bedroom is best. You're already there at night. Make sure it has a solid door and reinforce it the same way you did the front door. Long screws, a barricade, a strong lock. Inside that room, you need a charged phone, a flashlight, a weapon of choice, water, and snacks. You might be in there for a while. Train your family with a code word. Pineapple, thunderstorm, something you'd never say by accident. When they hear it, everyone goes to the safe room. No questions, no heroics, just move. Here's the beautiful part, the science of why this all works. You're not trying to build a bunker. You're just trying to be slightly harder to get into than the house next door. Criminals operate on a risk-reward calculation. Every single obstacle you add increases their risk. Every second they spend trying to get in is another second they might get caught. The 3-minute rule is real. If it takes longer than 3 minutes, they bail. Your reinforced door is 3 minutes of kicking. Your fake dog is instant psychological doubt. Your garden path is constant noise anxiety. When you stack enough of these small obstacles, the math stops working in their favor. They move on, and you survive.